Question for you guys. So, how do y'all balance time, money, family, all the pressures in the world in the 24-hour day? We got to work out, we got to eat good, we got to take care of things. How do y'all balance everything and being in the rat race?
There's really no magic bullet to balance it all. I think for me, of course, discipline is the first one. You got to have discipline for that. For me also too, having to-do lists makes it easy for me. If I don't write it down, I'm going to be all over the place. So I feel like that kind of helps me balance whatever I need to do professionally and then personal as well. It doesn't always work out. You don't always get everything done on that list. And sometimes you don't even always get to all the personal stuff you want to get to in that day. I think you got to just do your best as possible. I mean, I really don't know if there's really one. It's a sliding scale. There's no one way to kind of get that balance through business and personal.
Yeah. What about you, Jay?
I mean, I'm not there yet personally. I kind of value my free time and my relaxed time more than I'm valuing. I mean, I work I got a 9 to 5, so I work as much as 40 hours a week. So I try to focus on my downtime, and recently I've realized that maybe I've done that too much. I've gotten a little too confident or too comfortable, and I haven't pushed myself in certain areas to progress, especially financially and stuff like that. So I mean, it is a hard balance to make, especially, it's a hard balance to make, and then things change over your time, over life, right? So the things that you had time for, you start not having time for. And a lot of times as you grow older, you find yourself putting in the time for things that maybe you don't personally, want. And it's more things that you're doing to make that money to, do the other things that you personally want. So it's like a catch-22. It's like maybe when you were younger, you could sit down and make beats all day.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't selling it, it was just something for you to do and get your mind off of things. And as you get older, it's like less and less time for those things. So that's the part where, it's like, when you're sitting home, you're like, am I working hard enough? Should I be binging this whole show this weekend? Like, I just spent a whole weekend, even though it was relaxing and something that you wanted to do. But did I really spend my time as valuable, as I should have, and that's personally been my struggle recently. It's just making sure it's like, okay, Jay, like, you can't just come home and chill. Like, you got to do something, right? Especially if you're not exactly where you want to be or on the path to get there. If I need to make more money in the IT field, then I need to be studying and practicing for certs and doing the things I need to do, updating my resume and sending out resumes and all those types of things. Whereas when I get home from work, I'm like, man, I ain't trying to think about none of that. Like, I'm trying to go chill, chill with my wife, and relax. So if that for me is my issue. I know, Joe, you got a 9 to 5. So I mean, not a 9 to 5, you got your own business. So it kind of forces you to work that at all times. Like, the email comes in, you got to get that money. Whereas when you had that 9 to 5, it's like, shit, it's 5:15. I'm not even thinking about work. Like, I'm not thinking, I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to, enjoy the fruits of my labor, as you would say. But I personally haven't gotten to where I need to be. So how much should I be enjoying the fruits of those labors? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like us in this generation we're always connected, compared to like our parents and our grandparents. They can really disconnect. So I feel like we're always on go mode. Always on trying to, chase paper, because now, to buy groceries is insane. $100 ain't going to get you much at the grocery store anymore. So I feel like we're always on go mode, trying to get money, trying to improve. I'm always just connected to social media, or always connected to people.
Yeah.
Back in the day before cell phones, you don't communicate to people as much as you do now with, social media. So I feel like you're just always connected to everything.
I think we're in a world now because, you think about like New York, they say like that's a city that never sleeps. I think we're now in a world that never sleeps. There's always going to be somebody that's up late at night working on a proposal or working on something for their social media, their business. So like you said, that balance, it is tough. Like Jay was saying, when you work traditional 9 to 5, you generally clock out, your work's done for the day. You don't take that work home with you. So you're just like, hey, I want to go home and chill and relax. But also too, you got personal things at home too that need to be done. Whether you, like you said, it's working out or spending time with your family. And that it, like I said, it's not one answer for that. I think everybody's situation is different. I mean, mine's, like I said, I have a business. So it's like, even though I might say, hey, I have this downtime, I mean, if an email come through and, they need an answer back, am I going to wait I might miss out on an opportunity. Now, there are times where, like, if I'm out with the family, like we're out having lunch or going somewhere, we might go to the movies or something. Most of the time, I'm probably going to put my phone on airplane mode for that time being, just to have that undivided attention for my family. But if we're just casually out to the grocery store, I'm on go. I'm on go. If I see a number pop up and it's a client, or I may answer it because they may be trying to book something, may have a question. So, I kind of pick and choose those times where I'm like, hey, I need to just go off the grid, airplane mode. And then those times where I'm like, okay, I'm not on at 100 miles an hour, but I'm idle right now. So if something come through, I may need to take it. And it's just the nature of the beast. It's just the nature of the beast. And going back to what Jay was talking about, the coming home and this doesn't have to pertain to anybody who works a 9 to 5. It can be your own business. But I think it is important when you, especially if you want to get ahead in life, like for the younger people that are maybe just finishing college, they're kind of like gotten over that hump of, I'm done with all that studying. I don't have to stay up all night. So they kind of enjoy going to work and then coming home and be like, wow, I don't have to do any work. I don't have to do no papers, no studying. But that could be a trap that you can fall into. And then over the years, you're kind of like, I call it pushing the needle. They're not pushing the needle so they can get to that higher tier that they want to get to. So I always feel like it's still important to have some type of extracurricular on the side, whether it's a business, a hobby, because what it does, I think it feeds into your work ethic too. For myself personally, I don't think I've ever been without some type of side business or something on the side outside of whether it was the traditional 9 to 5 or my day out working with clients since 2006. 2006 was probably the last time where I was just like, I'm going to school, coming home, or go to work and come home and do nothing. Like once 2006 came, that summer, like when we had the studio business on the side, like it hasn't stopped since. And I would say I really never found that balance ever since. It's just kind of like making that time for the personal things. Like yesterday, we went out to go see a movie. I made the time for that. On a Saturday. I didn't have anything booked. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make time for family. We're going to go out, see a movie, and then we're going to go out to lunch or something and make a day of it. And then, that night I can get back to working on something, or I can have time for myself, just some downtime. So I think you got to just be really intentional about having each day carved out, whether that's having something on a to-do list. Like I have to have a to-do list. If I don't write it down, I'm be all over the place. I have to write it down every day. Even if it's 5 tasks, even if I have 8 tasks, I may know I'm not going to get them all done today, but I need to take care of the high priority things. And then the lower priority tasks going to get moved to the next day. But and even sometimes I got to write personal stuff on there. Like when the kids come home from school, okay, have some physical activity with them, whether it's working out or something for an hour. Or something, or later in the night, I might still have a ton of editing to do, but me and my wife might sit down and watch a TV show. Like one of our favorite shows is Your Honor. So that's a show we watch together. So I'm like, all right, let's sit down. So now I'm like covering all my bases.
Paper too? Had time with the missus?
Sometimes.
30 minutes exactly.
No, that might be 30, maybe an hour. You might watch it and fall asleep sometimes. Yeah, I mean, but I try to make time for everything. And then you try to make time for things around the house that need to be fixed, or the garage needs to be clean. And it's just like I think the best way to look at work-life balance is to what's high priority and what are the priorities for the day. What are the ones that's like must have today? What are lower tier priority things? And I feel like you'll kind of get better with kind of balancing it all. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm also learning too as I get older, and as you start making more money, you have to stop trading time for money. So
That's a hard concept.
And you can flip it. You can use money to trade for time. So, yes, maybe I can fix something around the house, but maybe it's more efficient for me to pay somebody to do it for me. That way I get more time back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that balancing act now of like, okay, I have to delegate tasks out. I can do this. I'm capable of doing this. But if I really want my time, I'll pay somebody else to do that.
Right.
Or, the missus, hey, I need to push this over to you. You talk about high tier and low tier. Maybe it's something that you're capable of doing, but like, hey, can you call the school up and take care of this administrative work for me?
Right.
And then, I'll take care of the big issues of like, oh, I got to pay the taxes, for the house. I'll take care of that. And I'm going to have you take care of this. And that way it's less stuff on
you frying the big fish. She might fry some of the smaller fish for you.
Yeah. And that's not saying that she doesn't fry big fish as well.
Right.
But maybe I see that her plate has less items on it. So maybe I can slide this off my plate, give it to you. And then maybe I can slide some of these other little miscellaneous stuff to people. You know, if it's me using like thumbtack or something like that to hire people to paint or fix stuff around the house, or maybe for you for a virtual assistant, maybe you can trade some money to get back some of your time and have this virtual assistant doing some of your admin work. Right. So I think you have to figure that out.
I mean, and just like you said, going back to what you said about you slide something on her plate, she may have something to slide your plate. Like you may take both the vehicles to get oil changes and the tires rotated and stuff where she doesn't have to worry about that. So it's kind of like, you're a team working together. Yeah. And I think that is really important, when you're married, that you delegating tasks, like who's better for this task, who, okay, this person right here, that's more up their alley. All right, and you see if they can do that, and then vice versa.
One person can cook better than others, so like, hey, you a better dishwasher than
right? Exactly. Just like they want you to do the manly stuff in the house. Hey, if something stopped working, an outlet or whatever it is, hey, if you're able to do it, or cut the lawn, cut the grass or something, most time you're gonna do that. Yeah.
Or outsource it.
Or you outsource it, like you said. If you don't have time for it and you have the money, then that's how you buy your time back.
But you gotta buy it back.
Yeah. But I think that's the whole buying your time back thing too is non-linear, because the whole time freedom thing where people say, hey, I need to make money in my sleep. That's harder than it sounds, because you're still gonna have to oversee the project or whatever that thing is being dealt with. Like you said, unless you hire somebody to mow your lawn, that's different. But if you're talking about like business, it's still, you delegate tasks, but you're still kind of overseeing certain stuff.
I mean, I feel like if you put a good enough system in place, you can kind of automate certain tasks.
Yeah, certain tasks.
Yes, you have to come in and make sure everything's flowing down the pipeline correctly.
Right.
But if your system's good, you can probably get to where you can make money in your sleep.
Yeah, because I would say for me, business wise, me using CRM,
what's the
program,
CRM?
It allows you to do like invoicing.
Mm-hmm.
And it saves me a whole lot of time and headache as far as like invoicing clients, because I have a template in there. I just input some basic information, sends it to the client, tells me when they read the invoice, when they paid it, all of this stuff, versus me going back and I have like an old PDF and inputting everything in there, or copy and pasting and converting it to the PDF. That takes too much time. And it's just like, let me just pay the yearly fee.
Yeah. And how much is that?
It's probably like $30 a month.
$30 a month.
$30 a month.
Yeah,
which is a no-brainer.
So $360 a year, and you're getting all that time back. So
exactly, and it's a write-off. It's business write-off. So yeah, I mean, I think that's just as we get older, we're looking for ways to delegate. We're not getting younger. It's just certain stuff where it's like, hey, I might not feel like my garage is packed with junk right now. I might call a junk guy instead of me saying, well, I'm gonna go pack all the stuff up and take multiple trips to the dump. I might just hire somebody that specializes in that. They can come haul it and put it on their truck and take it away.
But see, I'm also concerned about like not outsourcing everything. There is
that goes back to the balance.
There is some things that you do want to do yourself, and,
right?
It's like I don't ever want to get to a point where I'm just having people do everything for me, because I feel like it hurts. It hurts skill set in generations, because now your children don't learn how to do things themselves.
Right.
They're always leaning on other people to do things for them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to go get my food. Where's the Uber?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to cut the grass. We always had somebody, Jose or John or somebody come out and do it for us.
Wow, say you try to clean it up with the John.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you want your kids to learn how to do certain things or just clean up after themselves. You don't want them to always have a cleaner come by. Oh, they'll come by and clean it for us. I ain't gonna worry about that.
So imagine somebody that might come up in a household where they have nannies and butlers.
Mm-hmm.
That concept right there probably could possibly spoil them, where now they move out on their own.
Mm-hmm.
They've been so used to that, that lifestyle of I don't fold my own clothes, and
it doesn't have to be a nanny
Absolutely.
or butler. I think we're almost.
It could be a mother who just does it all
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like if your mom did all your washed all your clothes, cleaned your room for you, cleaned up. If she did all of that, then you get out on your own. You're gonna be like, oh wait, I have to do this for myself, and
Yeah.
that becomes a problem. That definitely becomes a problem. I mean, like what you guys were saying. Like I'm a DIY guy. Like that's my thing. Like if I could save the dollar, I'm gonna save the dollar. I don't care. Certain things like manual labor where I'll pay. Like, last time I just moved, I got some. Went to the Home Depot and got some guys to help me move.
I'm sorry, what you did? What now?
I went to the Home Depot and got some people to help me move.
What was their names?
I don't even remember the name. I don't remember their
he
name.
just said, "Hey, you can do
Hey,
this job."
yeah,
Okay.
hey. I asked them how much. They told me how much. I
Pull
said,
the
all right.
front and honk the horn.
I ain't do all that. They flagged me down. Please believe you go over to that Home Depot off Central Avenue. They gonna flag you down.
They want
but
your business.
yeah, they trying to. Yeah, you driving down the wrong little area to get in that Home Depot, all you gonna see is hands trying to pass you cards. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that type of thing was like that was a savior. Because there was no way me and my wife were gonna be able to move all that stuff. And, our back would have been tightened all the next day, and it took us 3 days to recover from that. So manual labor stuff, I definitely will try and sub that out to say for an expression. But if it's something I can do myself, if it's something I can figure out myself, like if I'm gonna wash my car, I'll wash it myself. If I can. I live in apartments a lot, so I haven't really had the opportunity to. But now I have a house where I got a hose, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wash my whole car now, and I'm gonna save that. Yeah, huh?
I like going to car wash.
Yeah, I bet you do. I mean, you put a lot of miles on your car though too, so that's a little easier for you. But for me, I like like that's something I like to do too. So it's. But if it's something I can do myself, I'm gonna do it myself. Like I'm gonna save that money. But and a lot of times you garner a skill. When you do that,
Exactly.
you learn.
That's true.
Like a lot of people go get their oil change. I change my own oil. Like the price for work for me is ridiculous because in my opinion, like the oil change has gotten too expensive. Like I'm not spending $125 to change my oil when I can do it myself. It'll take me 15 minutes and I'll go to the store and it'll cost me $40. Like I'm saving $70, $80 to do it myself.
Buying
and
the filter and the oil.
Filter and oil. That's all you got to
your labor. Yeah.
And in 15 minutes of time. Like for me, I'll save $80 for that.
It's a balancing though. It's
Absolutely.
like you try to quantify or equivalent like how long would this take me to do? If I was to do this, how long will this take me?
Yeah.
How much money will it cost me? And what makes more sense? If it's gonna cost me $120 for a 15-minute activity, boom, I'll do it myself.
Absolutely.
But now, if on the flip side, if it's like, oh, I can pay somebody $50 to do it, and it's gonna take them an hour, I'll let them do it.
Right.
It's just it's all about what makes
Yeah.
sense.
Absolutely.
But going back to your statement about having nannies and all that stuff, I don't even think you need it to be that drastic to have a nanny. I think we're at a point where everything is already spoon fed to people that this generation is going to have problems because they're accustomed to everything being brought to them,
like the food,
everything being done for them, or having somebody that can do it besides them. We're in a state of somebody else can do it.
Well, I have an example too. Years ago, this electrician was talking about he said he makes a ton of money off of people's just ignorance. I mean, he's not doing nothing wrong, but it may be a millennial that call him and say, hey, this outlet's not working. And he gets there and it's one of them GFI outlets. And they didn't even think about resetting anything. Yeah. And he goes down and reset it and it's like, well, I mean, now I got to charge you, of course, for that, basically, even if it was so simple. He said he sees that all the time because a lot of young people don't even know, they're not getting the know-how, and that's not always necessarily a fault. Maybe they didn't grow up in a house, they grew up in an apartment, or maybe they had a parent that wasn't up on that. You know, where we were fortunate to grow up where, you know, father taught us that stuff, like basic stuff, like knowing how to use the things in your house, whether it's how to turn off the main water valve if there's a leak or something like that. But now, you know,
but is there really an excuse? Because now it's easier to get the knowledge. You have YouTube.
Is. You're
so
right.
You can be like, you know what? Let me try to figure this out real quick. YouTube.
Yeah.
Outlet not working. And then, of course, you use common sense and safety and all of that and figure out, is this out of my realm of what I'm possible I can do?
Right. Are you willing to deal with electricity, stuff? Or
exactly. But you have the internet. You know, so many things I've been able to fix or resolve just based off of the internet. Absolutely. I mean, even working in IT, my first job in IT was a call center. And, you know, of course, I'm not going to know all the answers, but my go-to was, let me take a look into something real quick and put them on hold, and I'm Googling it. And it's like, I'll tell them like, I'm restart the computer. And we know that's not going to work or fix the issue. Right. Or that's just giving me time. That way I can Google for about 2 minutes.
Research the problem.
You Google it.
Find common fixes and see. Like, exactly. Okay, all right, let's try this.
And you might have like three swings at, okay, if this don't work, we'll try this. If this don't work, try this. If this don't work, we escalate it. So I'm just saying, we have the internet now, which is easily accessible for everybody because they have a cell phone. And, you know, that maybe it's not, you can't always blame on the parents.
That's true. Yeah.
You can't. Sometimes you got to take a little accountability.
Especially, you're right. I mean, you're all adult. At some point, you're an adult. Yeah. And it's you can't really look back and say, well, I was never taught that. It's like, I mean, yeah, you can, but what are you going to do about it? You know, like you said, that the outlet stops working. Okay, go to YouTube. If you don't understand how to reset it, go to YouTube or whatever, and it's free.
And they're going to say, most common issues, try here, check the breaker.
Yeah, there's been several times where, you know, hooked up a device or something and it blew, and, you know, go down there and reset it.
Exactly.
Good to go. But, yeah, you know, a lot of people, I guess, it's just, that's the society we're in. Like I said, ordering food, you know, everybody's used to, well, I don't feel like cooking today. I mean, it's cool every now and then, but it's easy to get hooked on that.
Yeah.
I mean, even the groceries now, right? You can go online, order your groceries. They can deliver it to you. You can just pick it up. And it's like, okay. But, you know, one of the things I learned growing up was going to the grocery store with my mother. Like, she'll get the different, you know, weekly, you know, sales.
The
papers. And then, like, if it was after work on Monday, all right, well, now we're at Safeway. Then we're at Giant. Then we're at Shoppers. And she would know what the deals were. She would know, okay, I need to buy a bunch of that and put it in the freezer because it's the lowest price that it gets to. So she would have that knowledge already because she always went in and shopped. And that's something that I learned because I had to tag along with her. So I knew, okay, look for this, look for that. Look at the, you know, the prices at the grocery store will tell you what the cheapest thing is if you look at the price per ounce or the price per pound or whatever. And you can compare it to the other options. Like, you learn all those skills because, you know, you're absorbing it just by watching. Yeah. And, you know, those are the type of skills that people will, you know, won't get. So it's like, okay, yeah, you ordered your food online, but they're gonna put the most expensive stuff in your basket. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting the deals and the savings and let me, you know, how do you even pick a piece of fruit? How do you pick a piece of how you pick vegetables? How do you know what's fresh and what's not? You know, and then, like you said, generations down the line, they're not even gonna know. And
so that you mentioned that's it's like back as a kid, you probably hated those trips to the grocery store. You probably did. You're like, and the crazy thing is, it probably was a 45-minute trip, but it felt like hours. Yeah. It felt like forever. It felt like on a Sunday, I felt like Sundays we were always in the Safeway in Clinton, Maryland. Like, always. And I'm like, it felt like an all-day thing. But now that you're older, you appreciate that because you're like, oh, wow, I was learning stuff along the way. Those times where you were in the Home Depot as a kid and like, oh, why is it taking forever? Yeah, here we go. And they sitting there looking between two items for hours. And then it's like, oh, now I'm like that, you know, now, but it's for good reason.
And the thing is, nowadays, it's like I'm not in the store looking for hours, but I'm watching 7 different YouTube videos on this, you know, webcam, you know, the security cameras and the different ones. And you got people who do the comparisons and you show you the different qualities and what this camera will do that and you pay this much for that and all that. So it's like I'm still doing that stuff. It's just we're not in the physical place as long. But I still know to do research before I start buying stuff. Right. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are just like, oh, I want that, I'm buying that. But me, I'm a research guy. I'm a look.
Me too.
You know, even trips. Like, we going on a trip, I'm researching. I'm looking up What are the things to do in the area? What are the different hotels? What are the amenities? You know,
Good hotels,
yeah,
restaurants,
exact restaurants, like all that type of stuff. So, you know, that you know, like you said, Googling and looking things up, you're gonna learn so much, you know, from people who've already dealt with it and gone through the issues or learned how to fix things. So you already know, is this something I want to do? Right? Like in terms of a task at home that you might want to pay somebody to do, like, is that out of my realm of capability, or is it something that I can do that? That'll take 2 seconds. I can press the button for a ground fault, you know, for a GFI thing. You press the button and it resets, you know. And so
let me go back one more time too. When you talked about the guilt that you feel sometimes when you get off from working and you come home and you say, hey, I want to have that time to relax. I think it's important too, because a lot of times you can guilt yourself into feeling like, why am I chilling right now? And also too, sometimes it can come from the internet, because you got all these gurus and stuff now. Like, why are you sitting and chilling today? Why are you watching TV?
Sleep is for the weak.
Why are you sleeping? Why are you playing that video game? Why are you on vacation? Why are you hanging with your family? Like, you're supposed to be hustling. So it's created a culture where people feel like they feel guilty to take some time for themselves, where it's like, well, that's what you work for.
Exactly.
You know, your fruits of your labor. On a Sunday, you sitting there watching the game being lazy. What's wrong with that? Sunday's supposed to be, Sunday's either people either go to church or they have the day off for rest. So it's like you've earned it. You know, so I think you got to give yourself some leeway and say, you know what, I worked hard the last couple of days. I did what I was supposed to do. I deserve to relax today. I don't have to be validated in any way. Like I own my time.
Yeah. Right. But I think that it's also needed too. So I kind of see it's like, you know, as humans, we're like NASCARs. We're cars, we keep going around in this circle.
Right.
But you have to stop at the pit stop to kind of re-energize.
You do.
And
or you're burnt out.
Are you going to burn out? So that time is to re-energize yourself, or you're burnt out. So, you know, I found that if you try to keep working, your quality of work is going to go down.
It will.
But you know, but it's better to take a day off, re-energize, get your mind clear, and you can come back in stronger. So I even know it's like in the week, you know, I typically come out strong on my Mondays. Mondays, I come out strong, get things done, boom, 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 boom. Tuesdays, I typically do pretty good too. Wednesdays, I kind of go down. You know, I kind of rest on Wednesdays. Thursdays, I might get back into it. And then Fridays, you know, starts going down through the week.
Friday, like this getting pushed off till Monday.
Yeah, Fridays, it can wait till Monday, unless it's super high priority.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have to have those flows in yourself, you know, or you're just going to burn out. You know, you never want to be too low where you're doing nothing.
Right.
But you never want to be peaking high the whole time. You're going to burn out.
Right. Now, also going back to that too, I would say it depends on what age, where you're at in life. Somebody that might be 18, 20, 21, I think they need to be kicking it in the high gear. Not saying that you got to work 7 days a week, but I think it's important at that age, because you don't have very little responsibility financially. You're young. And those 20s, I think, are really pivotal. It's very important to push the needle.
So you said redline it. They can redline.
I would say, and you have the energy for it. You don't have any other responsibility. I'm not saying burn yourself out, but you need to be gunning it at 19, 20, 21. That's not the time to just turn up and party and chill. Yeah, you can have fun. You go have fun with your friends. But I'll say back then, when we had a studio, me and Jay and B and Q and Elon, all of it, we all was working jobs, but we still had the studio. We were still learning skills. We were still putting in that time and nurturing our skills. I think you gotta, when you come out of high school and college, these might be your peers, but I think it's important. You got to also say, this is my competition around me.
Definitely.
For these jobs and these opportunities. Yeah. So I gotta step on their neck right now while I'm young. It's friendly competition. Now, when you get to 30, you start having a family. Yeah, you can ramp it down a little bit more because you got kids and stuff like that. But when you're in your early 20s, you don't, in my opinion, you don't need to be just going to work and coming home and chilling every day. Yeah. And you turn around and be 30 and be like, dang, I'm still at the same exact position I was at 19. Well, it's like, well, you didn't push the needle.
Yeah. But I think a good valid point that you said was that y'all had a team. And it's kind of like iron sharpens iron. So it's good to be around like-minded people who are pushing each other to the next level. Right. You know, one person might know audio a little bit, one person might know video.
And that's exactly
but you're cross-training each other. Right. And you're pushing each other to get a better skill set and get sharper with it.
Right.
So I think that's another critical thing, just putting yourself around like-minded people, because if you grinding and hustling, but your boy just wants to smoke all day or drink all day every single day, that's going to take down your productivity.
It will.
You know, you want somebody that's going to keep pushing each other up. All right, I got to beat you here. Now you're going to beat me. And I say it's friendly competition.
Exactly.
But you have to surround yourself with those type of people.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I agree with everything y'all are saying. You know, and like you said, the social media, it can really throw you off, because it's like, even in the IT field, right? There's people you follow and they're like, oh, get into cybersecurity in 90 days. And it's like, and people are doing it, you know what I'm saying? Some people are able to do it. And but then when you're 2 years in and you ain't in cybersecurity yet, it's like, damn, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I, you know, so it's like you start trying to figure out those flaws, and then you might push too hard where you're, like you said, burning yourself out. So
you get yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I agree with you too. When you're young, you're living at home. If you're still living with your parents, that's go time. Like that's the time where you can really put yourself, you know, give yourself that advantage and that leg up over the rest of the people that you will be competing with in the workforce, you know, that are your age. So if you know, I know a lot of kids, they get older, they want to leave the house so quick and they want to move out. I would say, man, stay home as long as you can, you know, as long as you can handle, of course, as long as it's safe and, you know, no issues like that. But as long as you know, safe in your home and you good, I say stay there as long as you can. Stack your money, you know, learn skills, use that lack of having to pay rent, mortgage, whatever, as money that you can invest in yourself. Because that's the perfect time to be able to invest in yourself, invest in skills, invest your time, right? You can do an internship when you have a home that you don't have to pay for, you know. You can go somewhere and do something for free and gain some skills when you're at that age.
And that's it right there, skills. You know, get your 10,000 hours in. Figure out something. Figure out one thing and learn the ins and outs of that one skill. Don't try to be a master at everything. Yeah. Figure one thing out and know it, all of it, and that's going to be fruitful for when it's time for you to get your career. Yeah. You know, it's going to pay. You know, when you know it.
Yeah. Especially, it's also like don't try to get all the money right now, you know, like that's the thing. It's like, when you that young and you just getting out there, get the experience, like you said, get the skills, because that money will come. You know, don't say, well, I'm not doing this because I'm not getting paid what I want to get paid. It's like, well, doing this will help you get to that point and get that pay that you want to get paid.
But that seems like it's a standard. I don't want to say this generation. I don't want to say it. Let me stop saying that. But in younger,
it's worse in this generation.
I'll say it is. I think they've seen too much. You know, I didn't get to see, like, we had cribs growing up, but that was like celebrities.
Yeah.
Now it's like regular people, and they're showing you all the stuff they have, and you're like, okay, well, I have to have this too.
Yeah.
So then when you go to that job and they're like, hey, we're going to give you $17 an hour, and it might be a place where you can, you know, help your resume and you can learn. A lot of these young, when I got a job one time, one of my first IT jobs, it was for the no pay for real. And I came in with two people, they were younger than me, at least probably like 6, 7, 8 years younger than me. And they would we would have nothing to do all day, but we were getting paid.
Yeah.
But they couldn't stay focused. So they were leaving and going to sleep and doing stuff when really you just had to be available, right? You might do something today, you might do nothing tomorrow. But, and then, you know, as that's gone on, as I stayed there for a little bit and I took, you know, less pay, you know, now I'm in one of the biggest companies, you know, in the country, and, you know, I'm doing my thing. But it was because I was willing to take that short and understand that if I bust my ass and show them, you know, I'm a hard worker, that's going to lead itself to more money in the future, rather than focusing on today and saying, well, I'm not getting enough today, so I'm not doing it today. Rather than showing them like, hey, you should be paying me more because my work shows you that I should be paid more. So